Okay, so this video is going to be a combination of my ideas for a way forward for men, a video response to Anakini Poon's response to my men's empowerment video. I know I'm probably not saying that name right, and thirdly, this is going to be an attempt to reiterate the incredible stupidity of believing that conservatives are in any way, shape, or form a viable solution for men in the West, as opposed to the just as equally corrupt and misandric liberals. So first we need to start off with the basics in regards to how to get the men's movement past the boundaries of the internet. Now, in my opinion, we need to create a manifesto or a proclamation or some kind of edict of sorts cataloging in an articulate and direct way the grievances that men have and the inequalities that men face, the core issues of the men's movement, such as divorce, child support, and policies like VAWA. I've also come to the conclusion that abortion is not going anywhere anytime soon, so unequal reproductive rights should be listed as well, and all the other core issues. We need to be able to print these out in flyer form so that we can pass them out at public events dedicated to spreading the message of the men's movement. At these public events, we need to be able to give those willing to listen the best of the best in the men's movement. We need to screen the best put together, hardest hitting, and most professional arguments that the men's movement has to offer, so as to win people over to our cause. And this, in my opinion, is one of the most important transitions that the men's movement must make. We need to show that for once, men are unapologetic about organizing in public and voicing our opinions. Now, it's important that we say nothing good or bad about women themselves when doing so. We must absolutely refuse to give our personal opinions, whatever they may be, of Western women to anybody in any way when doing so, because not only can this be used against us, considering how most of our general opinions on Western women isn't exactly stellar, but this movement is for men. We have nothing to discuss about women. This movement is for men. Now, I've personally spoken with Man Woman Myth about how his videos are, in my opinion, by far the best put together and well-argued videos in the men's movement. And so I asked him if it would be okay to start screening his videos at public events, at universities, and pretty much anywhere men, and more importantly, younger men are known to congregate. And he said that he's fine with it so long as you're able to defend against the people who would seek to nitpick and trivialize his excellent videos to try and refute them. So basically, as long as you're willing and able to defend them, that he has no problem with us screening his videos in universities and other venues. And we all know that even the most die-hard feminists won't be able to fully argue against many of the major points in his videos, so the more we transfer it onto DVD and hand them out, or screen it in public venues, the more chances we have of proliferating a YouTube channel that brilliantly lays out all the issues and arguments of the men's movement, but to date has barely 1,000 subscribers. So by screening his videos and videos of other talented people in the men's rights movement, we can achieve the goal of actually starting something in the real world while continuing to promote our internet presence. Now, you will be expected to proactively seek out which institutions you want to do this in. Nobody here is responsible for motivating you to contribute. I'm not a leader, and the purview of men's empowerment should not fall under the authority of a leader. Men need to motivate on their own towards achieving the general goals we want to outline for ourselves. While screening men's movement material in public venues, we should pass out flyers promoting the men's movement and men's empowerment, and we should also send out the manifesto, or whatever you want to call it, to all congressmen and senators and scan their responses and post them on the internet for everybody to see. Now, this can also be done in the UK and throughout the entire West. And this will lead to no actual change, but it will serve as a way to give us a record of refusal from government to take any interest in rectifying the abuses towards men. It'll also serve to silence the disingenuous partisan who isn't for men or the men's movement, but is for trying to get you to join his defunct political party. After a record of this has been made, we will have irrefutable proof that government, whether it has a red or blue paint job, will not help the men's movement, and anybody continuing to propagate this stupidity will be seen for what they are. Now, some have asked me why I believe that a movement for men's empowerment should direct men to avoid marriage. And so I'll go ahead and get that out of the way right now, because they raise some valid issues. They say that it could alienate those who choose to get married for religious reasons, or moral reasons. So I want to right now define what I meant by marriage in my video. I'm talking about the government contract of marriage only, which is absolutely 100% not necessary for the validation of any form of religious or moral declaration of marriage. Marriage is a religious and or moral contract between a man and a woman. When I say men must refuse to get married, I'm referring to the government form of marriage that illegally transfers a man's wealth to a woman in the event of a divorce. Any man for men's empowerment must understand this. For those of a religious background, marriage is between you, your woman, and God. I've never read anywhere in the Bible or in any religious text that marriage should be sanctioned by government in the form that it is in the West today, and most religions even forbid divorce. For those who get married on just a moral basis, marriage is an agreement between you and her on monogamy and things of that nature, but under no circumstances should you invite government into it. Marriage under these terms, I'm 100% in support of. Now the next issue at hand. I've had some people disagree with my idea about refusing to empower women by not hiring them. And I've even had one comment in regards to my male empowerment video say, and I quote, "If we discriminate against women and refuse to hire them, we are no better than the radical feminists we hate," end quote. You see, this is the type of statement that I no longer have any patience for and will not tolerate. This is the type of statement that empowers women at the expense of men, and even employs the tired feminist tactic of using shaming language to get men to play by the rules when women categorically refuse to do the same. This person, who claims to be for men and the men's movement, and most importantly, for freedom, would accuse other men who bust their asses to keep their own hard-earned businesses afloat in an economic climate that makes it increasingly harder to do so. He would accuse men of discrimination against women for refusing to hire them. This person fully understands the dangers of having women in the workplace. He understands bogus sexual harassment laws that can literally destroy a small business. He understands the unfairness of paid maternity leave. He understands that many women take jobs from men via affirmative action. Yet a man who owns a business and refuses to hire women is no better than a radical feminist and is discriminating against women, he says. That's why I can no longer associate with these type of people. I'm going to say this, and it's the last time I'm saying it. Women are being unfairly helped by government in a myriad of different ways. This is not going to change until men, not Ron Paul, men change it. So that puts men in a position of having to help each other or just going it alone. So if women have demonstrated over and over that they're willing to take help from government at the expense of men, well then men are obliged to watch out for themselves. And any woman who agrees with what I'm saying would actually encourage men to help men and not women. These people act as if wanting to exclusively help men is some kind of oppression against women. And I want to know how. Now I gotta say, for somebody who claims to be a conservative, that sounds a hell of a lot like the way a liberal would think to me. If you're a woman and you want to be able to help men's empowerment, well then you have to prove your intentions. None of us hate women as a whole, none of us do. But we acknowledge the general behavior of women. We'd have to be stupid to not be suspicious. This is not discrimination against women, that's an acknowledgement of a pattern that women have displayed, and any man that says this is discrimination against women is an enemy of men and the men's movement. Now it'd be different if there was equality, but we live in a women's only world. Women's only domestic violence shelters, women's only rape crime initiatives, women's only glass ceilings, women's only sexual harassment, women's only definitions of rape. It's women's only. And this person has the nerve to say I'm discriminating against women when for once a man actually stands up and unapologetically says that this time, it's men's only. I won't apologize for this. No. And I call on the person who spewed that cauldron of nonsensical bull to apologize to men and the men's movement and stop propagating stupidity. We have work to do, which is the only reason I haven't formally taken the time to respond to this drivel. This person actually sat there and told me that he's an American and a conservative before he's a man. You can see it right there in his profile comments, which tells you everything you need to know. When the men's movement happens to go against America or conservatism, where do you think his loyalty lies? That's all I really have to say about this distraction. On to the more important matters that this video seeks to address. Now, as far as what we need to do for young men and boys, I've outlined this before, but I want to expound on it a little bit more. My vision for men's empowerment would include education on 3 main levels. The first being men's health and nutrition, the second being practical education in math, the sciences, and the trades, and the last, but just as important, would be the education in men's issues and men's empowerment. All of this must be given free of charge. We men that are for men's empowerment do not want your money. We don't ask for money. We want your time. We want you to be willing to give your time and effort towards helping young men and boys. So that means, for example, any boxers, any weightlifters that know what they're doing, anybody who's ever run a marathon or triathlon, are you willing to impart your knowledge on young men in hopes of helping young men and boys lead more active and healthier lives, and in hopes of getting them involved in something positive they might actually enjoy. And any plumbers, mathematicians, welders, chemists, biologists, whatever, are you willing to sit down with young men that might not even have the chance to go to school otherwise and educate them as thoroughly as you possibly can, free of charge, in your area of expertise? I know I am. And with the internet, by the way, you don't even have to meet these people in person. I tutor people for money on Dabblerboard, which is a website that's 100% free that enables you to connect with anybody who has a webcam in a virtual whiteboard environment where they can see you and anything you write down